It's Canada and the United States. That would really be something.
What's your reaction to that?
I think it'd have pros and cons. Like, it'd be interesting to see what happened. Like, I think our taxes would definitely drop somewhat compared to what we pay now.
My initial reaction was much the same as most of my initial reactions to him, which is, really?
I think he'd have an awful lot of opposition, and that the Canadians are not going to cooperate with him at all.
Yeah, I never heard it, but I'm good with it.
You're good with it?
Sure.
What do you like about that?
They got lots of money in the U.S.
Today, we're watching exactly how Canadians react to Donald Trump's proposition to integrate Canada into the US. Let's watch what they say about this.
Do you think it could even happen? Do you think it's a reality?
It's possible. It's possible. Anything's possible, right?
Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen.
Why not?
Because I don't think that he's serious. I really don't. I think he's just trying to ruffle feathers.
It wouldn't happen. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're still part of the Commonwealth. So, I mean, it's really, really outrageous, in my opinion.
Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No. Economic force.
And we can do the same, the other way around.
Canada and America, we're supposed to be neighbors and friends and that, but the tariffs that he wants to impose, it's not going to make it any better on us. So it's almost like if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I don't think it would be good because there's too much nonsense going on in the States to come over to here to Canada and make it one.
Sometimes we are one in a way. We're all the same. We have intermarriages. We have, relatives in the States. We have relatives here. And I don't think anything will change. I hope not.
Basically, as like a Canadian citizen and that, but I think with Trudeau being gone and Trump in power, I think it's going to help us in the long run, hopefully.
I think we're good here in Canada. I think we're just fine on our own.
Taylor Ebb, 7 News.
We're just fine on our own, they say. That was interesting to watch how many people think differently. Trudeau, the outgoing Prime Minister of Canada, saying there isn't a snowball chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. And Elon Musk is answering, calling him girl. You're not the governor of Canada anymore, so it doesn't matter what you say. That was a big hit on X. Let's watch some other reaction.
It's not a joking matter. It's very annoying, and the fact that he has no basis for a lot of his statements, it's very tactless of him.
The next person who becomes the Prime Minister has to be able to stand up and defend the sovereign integrity of Canada.
Hundreds of years worth of history, worth of legal agreements and relationships, and it makes me a bit nervous that he's going to take some lessons from his friend Mr. Putin and what's happening overseas.
We are paying way too much attention to this sort of nonsense. I think like children, when they say preposterous things that are laughable, if you ignore them, they'll go away.
But honestly, you might think that it is completely nonsense and insane for Donald Trump to say that, but you cannot ignore Donald Trump. Donald Trump is at the head of the United States. It is the most powerful man in the world right now, so you have to pay attention to what he says and what he does, definitely.
Sort of give them that credibility and respond. They're going to keep doing it because they get a rise out of it.
I do think he's out of his mind. I'm sure I'm not the only one. On the other hand, it could be a bit scary because we've seen what he's able to do.
I think it's super important to just take him seriously because we just don't know yet what he's capable of. It's also very, very scary for all Canadians and for our own economy.
I think it's ridiculous. He's posturing, and we are not a 51st state and never will be. We are Canada and will always be Canada.
I was actually very happy, even though our Prime Minister has decided to step down and resign. I did like that he spoke out against that, and I wish more members of the Canadian government could be a bit more vocal about pushing back against those kinds of positions.
I think the opinions of Canadians are kind of divided. Some Canadians think they should remain in Canada, and some people think it might be a good idea because of the economic advantages.
I think he's being unrealistic, but it is kind of, it's making a lot of Canadians nervous.
Empty threats, nothing. It's the same old Trump 2.0. That's it. Empty threats. He likes to thinks he gains leverage over countries and people, and that's just his modus operandi. That's it.
Canada being the 51st state, it's not a bad idea. It's not a good idea. It's what you call theoretical. I think he needs to do his homework first in a business plan to see how it would work out. Because we're different societies, we're different cultures.
All around the world, we are seeing, unfortunately, these kind of things occurring, which is, for me personally, I find it concerning.
Well, Donald Trump is actually thinking of the interest of America and the American people first, and he believes that by posting this on X, he might have a good chance to sway some Canadians to become part of the United States. And this is a reaction of the Canadian MP. Let's watch.
With this AI-generated triumphant photo.
No matter how many Trump photos of him in business suits striding a Swiss mountain he posts with a Canadian flag, we're not intimidated.
Yes, that is the Matterhorn in Switzerland.
People who know Trump in business deals say this is his tactic before negotiation. Humiliation, business approach. Okay, so I take offense. We do not strive to be the 51st state. We're a G7 country. We are part of the world as an independent, sovereign nation. Comme Canada, nous sommes déjà une nation, nation fière.
When May went back to English, she addressed Trump's recent suggestions about who in Canada should try to become the next Canadian Prime Minister.
I have so many great friends. One of them is the great one.
Yeah, I think Canada and the US are allies. And this is what Trump was saying recently about this. Let's watch.
You said you were considering military force to acquire Panama and Greenland. Are you also considering military force to annex and acquire Canada?
No, economic force. Because Canada and the United States, that would really be something. You get rid of that artificially drawn line, and you take a look at what that looks like, and it would also be much better for national security. Don't forget, we basically protect Canada. But here's the problem with Canada. So many friends up there. I love the Canadian people. They're great. But we're spending hundreds of billions a year to protect it. We're spending hundreds of billions a year to take care of Canada. We lose in trade deficits. We're losing massive. We don't need their cars. You know, they make 20% of our cars. We don't need that. I'd rather make them in Detroit.
So according to Trump, the United States is spending billions to take care of Canada every single year. Is this true? I don't know. Let's watch what the Premier has to say about this, Ontario Premier.
What's your problem with the United States absorbing Canada?
Well, first of all, Jesse, you know, I love the U.S. I love Americans, and I get it. You know, President-elect Trump is a real estate tycoon. He's made billions, but that property's not for sale. As simple as that. But I have a better idea, Jesse. Why don't we create Fortress Amcan and make sure it's the richest, wealthiest, most prosperous jurisdiction in the two countries anywhere in the world? We have the critical minerals, we have the energy, we have the electricity that America needs. And there's only one place I'd want to sell it to, and that's the U.S.
Well, you could sell it to us, or we could all own it together, and that's a choice we can all make together. You say this isn't for sale, but everything has a price. The $1 Million Man says that. Can you think of this more as a merger instead of an acquisition? Don't think about being taken over. Think about this as a coming together.
Yeah, we can come together on a great trade deal. We're two greatest countries in the world. Do you know what the problem is? I've lived 20 years in the U.S. Matter of fact, I spent a lot of time in Philly, where you did, for 7 years, and in Chicago. There's not one American that I speak to out there, Jesse, that has a problem with Canada. Do you know what the problem is? China's the problem.
Yeah, I believe Canada and the US together can do great things against their common enemies. And he is probably the next Canadian Prime Minister. And let's watch what he has to say.
And my message to incoming President Trump is that first and foremost, Canada will never be the 51st state of the US. We have a heroic history, a great people, and a very proud future ahead of us. And the president has raised concerns about our border and the government's destruction of our military. Well, we should reinforce our border to stop fentanyl, guns, stolen cars, not just for President Trump, but for our own people after 9 years of Trudeau losing control of the border. And we need to rebuild our military to protect our continent and our country against Chinese and Russian submarines and spy balloons, terrorists, and other risks.
Yeah, I truly think that Trudeau was terrible for Canada. It is a poor job for Canada, and now Canada has to wake up and choose a better prime minister and fix all of the mistakes that he made in the past. Let's watch some more action.
How do you guys feel about Canada potentially becoming the 51st state?
51st state? Why not? I think it'd be a good thing.
Do you think Trudeau is scared of Donald Trump?
I think so, yeah.
Some of Trump's ideas, you know, I hate to say it, are actually not bad.
Today, I'm here in Canada, and we're going to be asking the Canadians here how they feel about becoming the 51st state. Donald Trump has been teasing the idea for quite some time on social media, referring to Canada as the 51st state. He's even gone as far as posting a photo of him on top of a mountain range saying, "Oh, Canada." He is now calling Justin Trudeau the governor of Canada. So today we're going to be asking the Canadians here how they feel about becoming the 51st state. And Donald Trump is also talking about buying Greenland and taking back the Panama Canal. So if this video gets 100,000 likes, I know that's a lot of likes, but if this video gets 100,000 likes, we will go to Greenland and potentially the Panama Canal. Give this video a like right now, 100,000 likes, and we're going to Greenland. Now let's go talk to people here on the streets of Canada. How do you feel about becoming the 51st state?
Oh, f*** off.
Do you think it's pretty insulting that Donald Trump is trying to make Canada the 51st state?
He's not trying to make it. It's just pure insanity. It's just more craziness. You know, piled higher and deeper. It smells just as bad as it always does.
Would there be any benefits of becoming the 51st state?
I can think of about 1 million disadvantages. Not one advantage whatsoever.
What would be some disadvantages of becoming the 51st state?
Everything. You'd be American. That's like, isn't that enough?
Do you support Canada becoming the 51st state?
Nah, who would want to be part of America right now?
Yeah, why wouldn't Canada want to be part of America?
Hell no, bro. Nah, you got it good here. Drinking age is 19, not 21. Weed age 19, not 21.
What do you think about Donald Trump? Do you think it's right of him to say and refer to Canada as the 51st state?
Not really. It's a little bit expansionist, but you know, I think Trump's a bit of a dick, but yeah, that's just me. I get why people voted for him. He's, you know, he promised change, and America does need to change, so we'll see how that goes.
How do you feel?
Yeah, I totally agree with what he was saying right there. People voted for Trump for change. They wanted change from the Biden and Harris administration, who did terrible things for the economy, for immigration, for wars all over the world, and they want Donald Trump to fix everything. We will see if that's actually happening or not.
About becoming the 51st state?
I love it. I'd love it to do it. Yeah, I'm all in. As long as Trump ain't in.
Okay. Well, Trump is calling Trudeau the governor of Canada.
Yeah, well, that's fine with me. Trudeau's an idiot. They're trying to get him out, right? So Canadian politics has got to do what they got to do, and if they want to make it a state, I'm in.
Do you think it'd be a good idea for Canada to become the 51st state?
If I was younger, I'd vote yes. Or I'd vote no. But now that I'm older, I vote yes.
What benefits would it have for Canada if it were to become the 51st state?
Well, they'd have to spread out a whole bunch of shit for us to understand, because right now it's just an idea. We don't know what's going to happen to our pensions. Are we going to get a fair shake in the deal? because they want all our resources. One way or another, they're going to get it down the line either which way. In 10, 20, 30 years, they're going to take it anyway. Right? Because they got no water, you know, they got a bit of oil, and we got all the lumber. I mean, there's 35 million here, and then there's resources.
Yeah, they have an abundance of natural resources here in Canada.
Yeah, and they'll be needing that.
And here you guys have 40 million people. In the United States, you got about 350 million. We have the biggest military in the United States. Canada has a decent-sized military.
Yeah, we got nothing.
Would it be beneficial for Canada to join forces with the United States?
Oh, well, yeah, we did in World War I, too. I mean, we were on the beaches, too, in D-Day. You know, it wasn't all America.
And then say Donald Trump gets Canada, and then he goes and buys Greenland. That'd be a pretty big country.
Well, yeah. Some of the Trump's ideas, you know, I hate to say it, are actually not bad. And then you got some bleeding hearts going, you know. But Trump's, he's not a politician. He's a businessman. He looks at it in a different sense.
Do you think Trump could make Canada great again?
I agree. Trump is a businessman first and foremost. He knows how to surround himself with great people. He knows how to build great businesses. He knows how to make great deals and negotiate with people to get the best for him, and in this case for his country and the American people. We will see what happens next.
Well, we are slipping a little. What's our dollar today? 60 cents? Yeah, well, at least we'd be on par with shit like that.
And just a reminder, if this video gets 100,000 likes, we will go to Greenland. What do you think about Canada becoming the 51st state?
Am I allowed to use a swear?
Yes.
Fuck no. Also, they should just bloody try it and see where that gets them.
Do you think Canada would be able to withstand the United States?
Look, we burned down. All I'm saying is, remember what happened once to the White House? All I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. We know where it is.
What do you think about Trump referring to your guys' prime minister as the governor of the great state of California?
May I make a gesture? There. I think that sums it up quite nicely.
What disadvantages would come from Canada becoming part of the United States?
We love our healthcare. I love the fact that I can go to the doctor or the hospital for any reason and not get bankrupt. I also like not having school shootings on the daily.
What would be your message to Donald Trump for referring to your prime minister as the governor of the great state of Canada?
Thank you. On behalf of all Canada and with our full chest and all politeness, thank you.
In all politeness, she says. But I do agree that the healthcare system in Canada is actually pretty good, much better than what they have in the US this state. Unfortunately, hopefully, it will get better in the US regarding health insurance.
You f***ing Cheeto.
That's it.
Tangerine Mussolini.
And remember this witch, because she even has more choice words for Donald Trump at the end of this video. So far, it's actually been super interesting to talk to people here. Some people obviously want Canada not to become the 51st state. Others have said it's actually not the worst idea. And every single time when I do make these videos, I always use ground news to prepare and to be able to understand how people are thinking on both the left, right, and center. You guys can check them out, use them as well at ground.news/Nick or scan the QR code here on the screen. Ground News is an app and a website, and all in one place they gather news from all sides reporting on the stories shaping our lives. And for instance, on the topic of Canada becoming the 51st state, you can see how both sides are reporting on the issue. For instance, on the left right now, they're calling Trump a wannabe Putin as he pushes Canada to become the 51st state, while some sources on the right and on the center are actually analyzing the possibility. And Ground News has a lot of cool features, especially their feature called the blind spot. It surfaces important stories missing from the left and right media bubbles. And Ground News lets you think critically by seeing both sides of the issues without feeling overwhelmed. I use their app, but you can also check out their website as well. Go to ground.news/Nick or scan the QR code here on the screen for 40% off their unlimited access Vantage plan. I promise you guys will love Ground News. I use them to make these videos, and I promise you guys will use it as well, as you want to see both points of views from all sides. And now let's keep continuing this video as we ask the Canadians how they feel about becoming the 51st state. How do you guys feel about becoming the 51st state?
Go for it.
You think it'd be good?
Yeah, it would be good.
How do you feel about Canada becoming the 51st state?
It's somebody's fantasy. It'll never happen.
Do you think Canadians should take Trump serious when he calls Justin Trudeau the governor of the great state of Canada?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you need to take Trump seriously for anything.
Are other Canadians worried about becoming the 51st state, or do you think that's just all a bunch of propaganda, lies from Donald Trump?
I think it's propaganda. I think it's another lie, but that's life.
How do you guys feel about Canada potentially becoming the 51st state?
I mean, I think it's a little bullshit. That's kind of about it.
I mean, I couldn't foresee that actually happening.
Do you think it's possible that it happens?
No.
No, and I mean, like, even if it is, like, just like hypothetically speaking, if America were to like invade us, they would absolutely crush us without even like crossing the border.
Yeah, I don't think America plans to invade or send the military anywhere to take up land. I don't think Donald Trump is that irrational, honestly, but he can use negotiation and economic power and coercion to get what he wants from Canada and from many other countries, unfortunately.
Say Trump decides to take over Canada, what will you guys do?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't feel like there's much you can do in like a situation like that. You know, like being overtaken is kind of just like a shitty reality for a lot of countries, and I just like really hope that doesn't happen in our own country.
Do you think it'd be the best interest of Canadians, especially with what's going on right now, to become part of the United States?
Okay, so I don't know, like, just speaking in terms of like our dollar, the value of our dollar has gone down, so like that would be a hypothetical good thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think like there's more downsides to it than positives.
Mm-hmm. And do you think it's insulting that Trump is referring to your prime minister as the governor of Canada?
I mean, Trudeau's kind of a baboon. He hasn't really done much good other than legalize weed. So I mean, I'm all for insulting Trudeau, but yeah.
How long have you lived in Canada for?
My whole life. I was born here.
How do you feel about Canada becoming the 51st state?
51st state? Why not? I think it'd be a good thing.
A lot of people today have said it'd be a bad idea and they want Canada to stay their individual country. What benefits do you see of Canada becoming the 51st state?
Security.
Donald Trump said this about Canada. He said taxes are far too high, but if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size and they'd be military protected like no other country anywhere in the world.
True.
Why do you think so many Canadians wouldn't want to be a part of the United States?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
I feel like Trump is basically behaving like a big mafia boss right there. For exchange for protection and monetary compensation, they want you to give up your business and your land and all your money for this. And your resources as well. We will see. I don't think Canadians are up for this, honestly, in the majority.
No idea. Basically, I think it's a lineage thing, right? It's like people want to keep hold of their Canadian heritage, right? Which is it's understandable, but you know, there's a lot of benefits to it. There's a lot of negatives, I guess. Depends on who you are.
Yeah, but you yourself would support Canada becoming part of the first.
I would. Absolutely.
And what do you think about your guys' governor, your prime minister, Justin Trudeau?
He's got great hair.
Anything else good about him?
No. It's bonehead.
Bonehead. And
absolutely.
Absolute bonehead, you say?
Yeah, why not?
Would you guys consider Donald Trump a dictator?
I would consider him a man that has too much power for his own good.
Should Canadians be worried by him calling Trudeau the governor?
Yes, I think any person in power, including Trudeau, that takes tips or is influenced by Donald Trump is going in the wrong direction.
Do you think he is taking tips, or do you think he's scared of Donald Trump?
I think he's being influenced and he's scared.
How would 25% tariffs affect the country of Canada?
I don't think Canadians can afford groceries right now. So, like, we're living in a time where everything is incredibly more expensive, but our jobs don't pay us any more than like 20, 30, 50 years ago.
How do you guys?
Yeah, I think it's not just Canada, honestly. I think it's everywhere around the world. People are feeling the rising cost of living, the rising inflation, and cannot afford to live decently. Honestly, it's like this in the US, in Canada, in Europe, and probably in Asia as well. Unfortunate, very unfortunate. Hopefully it will get better under Trump. We will see.
How do you feel about becoming the 51st state?
No. Like, America has enough. They don't need to take the entire, like,
I think it's kind of very disrespectful thing to say.
Do you think there'd be any advantages for Canada to become the 51st state?
No.
What do Canadians think about Trump?
Some of them like him, actually. Yeah. Some of them, like, hate him. I hate him.
Why do you hate Trump?
I just hate his opinions. I feel like he's so... I don't know, I just don't like him.
He did say that he would reduce taxes by 60% and businesses would double. And you guys would be protected by the largest military in the world if you guys did become part of the United States.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean because of that you should like give away your country, right? Like you could like you cannot say that to the other countries. Be like, oh, I could make you guys more rich than give your country to me. It's not that. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Do you think Trudeau is scared of Donald Trump?
I think so. Yeah.
How do you feel about Canada becoming the 51st state?
They were pretty young. They look pretty young in this clip, but they were very smart about Donald Trump, what he's trying to do, and how Canada would react. Canada. That's funny.
Well, we kind of already are to some degree. We're a settler colonial project. Do
you think Trudeau is scared of Donald Trump?
I think so, yeah.
The Yankee Empire in terms of foreign policy, corporations, ever since like the 80s with neoliberalism, we pretty much de facto are, just not in the most overt sense.
Do you think it'd be good for Canada to become part of the United States?
I'd see not really much of a difference. I'm indifferent. I don't really like both settler colonial projects.
Do you find it insulting when Donald Trump calls Trudeau Governor Trudeau?
If there was only one silver lining to Trump, I would say, is that he's funny, for better or worse. And I just thought it was humorous, but knowing him, I wasn't really insulted or I wasn't really complimented. He is who he is.
And I can tell you're very smart. How would 25% tariffs affect the economy of Canada?
That would be absolutely terrible because that affects all forms of technology, goods, because when it comes to the United States or a lot of the Western world, including Canada, it's mostly fixated on consumption than it is on production. Because I'd say since like neoliberalism of the 80s, we've been predominantly on a service economy, like gig economies like DoorDash, things like that, or just retail. There's no real industrialization anymore. There's no manufacturing. So the point is with that said, when it comes to goods, that would hurt the average Canadian for sure.
Yeah, I don't think going to trade wars is a solution for anybody. Trade wars and tariffs are going to be bad for the US, for Canada, for Europe, for Asia. And I do think that we need to go back to producing our own goods at home and not send all of our production capacity to China. That is very dangerous for our future and our autonomy, the same as our energy. Very, very important that we bring back everything in our country.
So is it safe to say if Donald Trump imposes a 25% tariff tax on Canada, it would destroy the economy of Canada?
I would say it hurt it very harshly, but I don't think it would destroy it per se.
Donald Trump is talking about making Canada the 51st state.
That was a joke on a dinner table, around a dinner table. That's all it was. He wasn't serious about it.
You don't think it's going to happen?
No. If they want to, they would have done it a long time ago.
Would there be any benefits for Canada if they did become part of the United States?
I don't know. We'll have to see if it happens, and if it happens, we'll find out.
How do you guys feel about Donald Trump calling Canada the 51st state?
I don't feel fine with that.
Do you think Canada will become the 51st state?
No, I don't think so.
Would you like it to become the 51st
No.
state? Would Canada benefit by becoming part of the United States by any means?
No.
And what's the main difference between Canada and the United States in your opinion?
People are more community-oriented here. They don't think they're a superpower country. They don't have the strongest army in the world. Yeah.
Donald Trump put on a post on social media that Canada would benefit because he said he'd cut taxes by nearly 60% instantly.
Yeah.
You guys would be welcomed in and have the strongest military in the world.
Yeah. No, I don't think that Canada would do well being 51st.
Wow, she seems very, very critical of the United States and Donald Trump particularly. She seems to think that Canada is much, much better. Let's see why.
State of the United States of America. I wouldn't vote for it, so.
And would you vote for Trudeau again?
No.
How do you feel about potentially becoming the 51st state of the United States?
I'm not so sure about that question right now. I'm debating onto it.
Do you think it'd be good for Canada?
Good, somewhat not, right?
What would be your message to Donald Trump for referring to your Prime Minister as the governor of the great state of Canada?
Fuck you, Shitler. We can go on.
Do you think that's fair to call Trump Shitler?
Yes, actually I do. Very much so.
And if you could cast a spell on Donald Trump, what would you say? And how would you do it?
Oh.
Cosplay time.
Only one? I'm not sure there's any spell actually that would be adequate. Any single spell that would be adequate.
The most adequate one.
Be gone, I suppose. Just be gone. Yeah.
And like, how would you flick the wand? Just flick it?
Just wave the wand. Just be gone with force.
Have a great rest of
That was a funny clip. Very, very funny. Great video. Well done. Great job for this interviews. I hope you enjoyed the video with me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this in the comment below this video. Should Canada become the 51st state? And click right there so that you can watch the next video. I always appreciate you being here. And bye-bye for now.